Good eve- Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. This is a city council meeting. We are in the chambers at Olivet City Hall at 1140 Dealman Road. I am in person alongside Council Member Missy Waldman, and our other council members are all present on Zoom. Would you please take roll, City Clerk?
Councilmember Carl.
Here.
Councilmember Waldman.
Here.
Councilmember Springer.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Chairman Weil.
Here. Next item, please.
Next item, number 2, communications. Mayor or Chairman Pro Tem, we have no written communications. Item number 3 is the city manager's report.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. On Friday, the 10th of September, we had one of our first public gatherings in quite some time. We had our party in the park. We had the band Vote for Pedro. We had a Circus Kaput. And then I think y'all know the speaker, the person who took the mic up there, Mayor Clark. And it was a nice crowd. It wasn't too crowded. But it was a really, I think we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. We had a lot of booths. Beverly Tucker Knight, the Park and Rec director, had arranged for representatives to be, she printed up a lot of information about the Parks Master Plan, particularly that about looking at different playground options. And she got a lot of feedback from those who are most in the know about playground equipment, which are the kids. And so that was really helpful. And we had Olivet and Bloom. We had a representative from the Turkey Trot registering people. We had, who else, Beverly? The Audubon Society, that's right, with the One Naturalist. International Dark Sky. And so it was a great, oh, that's right, Wildlife Rescue. And they had a great variety of things. It was a perfect evening. There was a food truck, a beverage truck. And so it was it was just nice to be out. Missouri American has started a water main replacement on Alice Place, and that's in the northeast quadrant. And it's going to impact Alice Place and Margaret Lane. And this is actually a very, it's a great timing for a project, because this is also where Opus is building a new multifamily structure. And they are also putting in sidewalks that it will be connecting Hilltop to Price Road. Part of the issue with the construction of that sidewalk was a water main pit that was on the city's property. And in conjunction with this project, Missouri American Water is going to be renovating that pit, which is going to allow us to much more easily put in sidewalks. And that sidewalk is really the first major connector connecting the northeast quadrant to Price Road. And so very fortuitous. I want to recognize Bruce McGregor, our Public Works Director, who's created a really good, solid working relationship with Missouri American Water. And because of that, they've had a lot of conversations early on about possible projects in the city, about possible projects with the water company. And so this has really worked out the way it's supposed to. The water company will also, because Alice is a little bit of a narrower street, and where the water main is going in, they're going to be paving the full width of the street. So all in all, I think it's a great partnership for the city and for Missouri American Water, because the last thing they want is to do a project and then have somebody come in a little bit later and tear up what they've done as well. So it's a good opportunity for us to work together. I was gonna take pictures of construction around the city. I left work to go do that and then it started raining. So I'll have those next week. Work that's continuing in the city, park improvements. We're in the final stages of the design development for the parks. The construction document stage should start sometime in mid-October, and we should have construction documents ready for bidding by the end of this year. Our geospatial project, or GIS, or Esri software, we have finalized the work plan with Pro West that was approved actually last calendar year by the council. With our senior planner leaving not long after that, we kind of got a little bit delayed in the implementation. And but we're very excited where we are now. Bruce McGregor and Don Doty are heading up that project. So that's exciting. They've been collecting data. They have been utilizing a kind of a free software, and now we're just transferring all the data to the Esri software. North Price and Olive Boulevard intersection. Access Engineering, as council aware, has been looking at options for that intersection to improve that southbound traffic flow. We've received about 3 different options that they've presented to us, and staff is currently reviewing those options, and we'll be discussing that further with the council. As you know, part of the Opus development was an agreement for them to put money aside for the engineering for that work. So this is what we would consider the kind of the pre-engineering, where they're looking at options, seeing what would work, and then they would actually move into engineering. And the new community center. Tonight you have on your agenda the contract with Wright Construction, and we are also finalizing audio video options and the fitness equipment. So we have a lot going on still with that project. Olivet Night Out is September 30th. If you have not yet done so, please register your subdivision at the city website. There's a form just to fill out. If you have any questions, feel free. That is organized by Dane Lincoln, our community outreach officer. And so please register. I don't know, Chief, how many subdivisions we have so far? Okay, so we're a little lower than what we would normally have. We do know that some of the subdivisions have decided they were going to wait on getting together. 8th annual turkey trot. You're going to continue to see this slide every meeting, just reminding folks that we're taking registrations now. And I'm going to have to do a new slide though every time, because this has a countdown, so I'm going to have to fix that. So we're excited about that. We have a pretty good registration now. You can see every time we do a news blitz or send a story out, you see a little bump in the registration. So I think we're ahead of where we were the year before last. Of course, last year was the anomaly. We had the virtual event. Meetings coming up. We have the Park and Recreation Commission on September 22nd at 7 p.m. That's going to be in this building. We will probably be in the community rooms of the building though. Planning and Community Design Commission is September 23rd at 7 p.m. The next regular city council meeting is the 28th. Night Out, as I said earlier, September 30th. City council work session is October 5th. And the Planning and Community Design Commission, then they meet October 7th at 7 p.m. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I see no questions, so council members, does anyone have any questions either?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll move on to item number 4, please.
Item number 4, city council reports.
I'll begin with Missy, Councilmember Waldman, since she's sitting to my left.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I attended the Planning and Community Design Commission meeting of September 2nd, at which time there was some old business. 7 Arbor Lane was tabled for continued conversation, but this particular project is moving in the right direction. There is water flow issues and concerns that have been addressed by the majority of homeowners that live on Arbor Road. On the Northeast Quadrant Transportation Sketch Plan Study, Mr. Trejo has given to the Planning and Community Design Commission, and he has asked them to look this over and become familiar with it again, as the body will begin to review this document and discuss it at the next Planning and Community Design Commission meeting. It's good because we're going to be talking about the Northeast Quadrant Traffic Transportation Study that has been offered to the city. Other than that, Mr. Trejo does a very, very good job of writing reports. There was very minimal within what we did at this Planning Community Design Commission. So I appreciate the opportunity to do a brief report. Thank you much.
Thank you. Councilmember Springer, do you have a report this evening?
I do not, Chairman, I have not attended any meetings since our last meeting.
Okay. Councilmember Carl, do you?
I do. First, I will report on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which occurred on September 9th. There was a house on Cherry Tree Lane requesting a variance from the combined area of all accessory structures of a maximum of 10% to almost 18% because of a pool and deck they were trying to put in. The Board of Adjustment considered that to be too excessive based on our requirements, and it was denied. On the other hand, there was discussion among the Board of Adjustment that we should, perhaps the council should take a look at reviewing this, because those lots, if you're familiar with them, on Cherry Tree and Harvest, those lots there are relatively small. And given what's being put on them today, 10%, it was difficult to get anything really useful in 10%. So I guess some discussion may ensue for, adding some verbiage that would allow more than 10% on smaller lots like that. But the question is, of course, as always, where you draw the line. So I think that may be coming before us at some point. I believe it has to go to PCDC first, maybe not. I forget whether it's a zoning change or not, exactly, land use, whatever. But eventually we may see that request. So I'm just letting you know. The other issue is not a meeting, but the fact of, I'm sure everyone by now is aware of Mr. Cousins' resignation from the Economic Development Commission. I would like a discussion of possible replacements. I'm wondering if we should hold that in closed session.
I think that sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
Okay.
That will be up to the mayor.
Yeah.
We have a closed session already scheduled. We can decide at that time.
We can go with a closed session. That's fine with me.
All right. So then that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, have you been to any meetings since our last meeting?
I have not been to any meetings since the last meeting. However, I did attend a golf tournament that had a plethora of St. Louis County mayors that participated in the tournament. I had a chance to play with the mayor of St. Louis, and I played in a twosome with the mayor of Maplewood, and I had a blast. I was peppered with a lot of questions about Olivet, and I was well prepared for those questions. Thank you very much, Ms. Sundog, and also Kiana. And it's something you think that people aren't paying attention to what's going on in this area. You'd be surprised. Olivet has been the focus of a lot of people, and I was so proud to be a part of this city. And we are becoming a really bright star in the St. Louis County. But yes, I played well. I didn't hit anyone, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. So now we know why you're really home tonight. You're too sore to be here.
Oh, I'm not going to kid you. I am sore.
I did not attend any meetings. However, I did attend with my fellow council members, the parties in the park. And I just want to reiterate what an excellent program it was, and the energy, and just how nice it was to be back in public amongst our residents and to see our community come out for this event. Item number 6, please. I'm sorry, item number 5, please.
Hearing from citizens?
Would the citizen in the chamber like to comment? And there are no, oh, we've got a couple.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I don't see if anyone would like to speak, they can raise their hand. I don't see anyone raising their hand at this point.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is bill number 2959, an ordinance fixing the annual rate of tax levy for 2021 on all property within the city of Olivet, providing for the extension of said taxes on the books of the collector by the county clerk, and providing for the collection thereof. First reading.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And tonight, we have just the first reading for our setting of our tax rates, a process that will begin here, I guess, beginning really as an assessment year. It began back in March, and everyone's probably received their letters in the mail if you're a homeowner. And I don't have much else here on the first reading other than the assessments did go up, and they did turn favorably for both residential and commercial properties. And that results in the tax rates going down in the indirect relationship between assessments and those tax rates. The only thing else I would ask, if you have any questions or anything else you'd like to see for that second reading, let me know, send me an email, or we can discuss it here as well. But that's all I have for the first reading.
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Councilmember Springer?
Darren, can you give us a 2019 versus 2021 overall property assessment and overall commercial assessment? That's all. I'd love to see that next time. What it was
Absolutely.
from the last time they assessed it and what it is now. And it may very well be in the documents, and I'm sorry, I don't have the documents.
No, it's a part of the charts that you have prepared in the past that I was planning on doing, but yes, definitely we'll do
Okay,
that.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item number 7.
Resolution number 2021-212, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Wright Construction for construction services for the new community center and Morrison Park improvements in the amount of $11,322,000.
I'm going to bring over a couple of folks. You all know Katie Aholt with Navigate Building Solutions. And then we have a couple of representatives from Wright Construction with us as well. Colby Patterson and Nathan, where is he? He'll be showing up shortly, I hope, or I lost him. It's a superpower. Oh, there he is. Nathan Bibb is on. Okay, he just has his screen off. That's fine. Oh, there he is.
And there he is.
Sorry about that. So just to talk briefly, actually, 1 second too.
Barb, you're muted.
Hey, yeah, hey Barb, the council chambers, yeah, I think is, there we go.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I did a good job not to make it squeal. I muted everyone. Yeah, yeah, but that's okay. Yeah. So I just want folks to know that initially when I sent out the information on this, it was actually a two-part motion. One was to award the contract to Wright Construction and also then to approve a deduct change order. At this point, I have changed that and we're just really asking you tonight to approve the contract with Wright Construction. We will be bringing back at your next meeting on the 28th, the deduct change order. The reason for that is that we're still working on things, still looking at the items, and I am going to pull up from that initial memo as the initial memo states, oops, hold on. That we received 2 bids and both bids and came in over what we had estimated. They came in very close to one another, actually under $100,000 of one another. And as the council aware, on the August 31st, you authorize an intent to award to Wright Construction. Wright Construction was the low bidder. We have then since been talking about various value engineering to make sure that we can get maybe a little bit closer. We've also been looking at our revenue sources. Some of the items that we are looking at for value engineering, you can see here, it's a different design for emergency lighting. The outdoor panels on the siding was changing them from 16 to 18. And you can read the list, and I'm sure you've seen the list before. We have a couple of outstanding items that we're still discussing, and that we'll continue to discuss. And we intend to have that final value engineering package and deduct change order done probably by next week. That will be bringing that forward. Some of the things what I want to make clear people understand is the staff and Navigate Wright Construction and KAI, as we were talking about things, we all wanted to make sure that we didn't take away anything from the building that we found was really either important to the look, important to the council, important to the residents. So for instance, we said no to HVAC adjustment at this point because we didn't make sure to reduce the efficiency on that. We are still looking at the HVAC system though to see if there's anything else. We didn't change any of the colors. We're using stock colors on the exterior, 2 different exterior wood panels. We decided to not change those and to go to stock, even though we could have saved a little bit of money, but we felt that the council spent a lot of time as well as did the park commission on those colors and with the design, particularly that third item, the green color, we spent quite a bit of time getting that right. We didn't we didn't want to remove the fireplace. We all know we talked about that. We didn't want to remove the kitchen equipment. The idea was, you could remove the kitchen equipment and add it later. And we decided, no, that was an important thing that came from the council. And that we think the residents have made it a unique building. We didn't want to change the shape of the building. We didn't want to change the interesting architecture for the indoor playground. And so we really tried to, we looked at this kind of as I always look, okay, so what would the city council tolerate? And so these are the things that we have said no to, and we're still looking at and discussing some other things. As you are aware, the council has talked about we're refinancing or refunding our 2014 GO bond. In that, we are also going to fully authorize the amount of the 2020 Prop C bond funds. We hadn't done that at that time. We had about 565,000 that we left, that we didn't take out. We are going to be taking that out. The tax rates, everything, the property tax, this will stay the same. Nothing's changing on that. We are still forecasting a savings of a very conservative savings of about 900,000 on the refunding of that 2014 GO bond. And we're also looking at freeing up some money from the park improvements, switching in some ways. We have two budgets. We have a budget for the community center. We have a budget for the park improvements. We know we feel very confident with some of the park improvements of getting some additional grant funding. And so we are moving some of those things, some of the monies over, because we know that we feel pretty confident we're going to be able to, we'll be successful in a grant application, partly through the municipal parks grant. And then we have a couple other ones that we are looking at. So we are not, we're not going to shortchange the parks by any means. But we do believe that some of the things that we're looking at in that community center, you have to do from the get-go, because they're harder to add at the end. And so those are the things that we're looking at. And with that, we believe that we will be in budget with that amount of 11,322,000. We also had a meeting with Wright Construction last week and Monday, where we talked about their goal for the DBE, disadvantaged businesses and women-owned businesses. They are actually looking at some of the changes that we had. We made sure that none of the changes we were making, we checked to make sure some of these things weren't being performed by a DBE or a WBE. Okay, so I'm looking at that subcontractor list. They've also looked at that list, and some of the changes that we're making, they think they may very well increase their the percentage of DBE and WBE that they will be able to do because of some of the switch of materials and things. And so we've also agreed to a monthly report on that will very clearly show the breakdown of those contracts and what's been spent, and being able to monitor that. I am also trying to get in touch with the St. Louis County people that operate their DBE program to talk with them. This is also in conjunction with, as you recall, part of this contract is for the Centennial Greenway. And GRG also has their own goals. And so, and Wright Construction is familiar with that, and will be doing the same work for that. In the conversations with Wright Construction, and I can let them speak for themselves, but was very interested in how they've worked with Hazelwood School District, which is actually one of the first school districts to have a formalized program. And they've done quite a bit of work with them. And so that's the list. And I'm not sure. I'm gonna stop sharing just so folks can actually, I don't know, Katie, if there's anything else we should add on this, or Colby and Nathan. I kind of asked Wright Construction to be here so that you could meet the people who are going to be doing this important project with us.
Thank you, Barb. Katie, Colby, or Nathan, did you want to add anything? Because I know that there are questions from some of the council members, but. So we'll begin with Council Member Waldman.
Thank you. Ms. Sondag, I just need a little bit of clarification.
Mhm.
So in my notes from a previous meeting, I have that we have 565,000 available for over cost of construction bids for the new community center. This is not including the money that we would reap from the refunding of the general obligation bond. Am I correct in that understanding?
Correct.
And we are looking at, from my other notes, about 800,000 possible from that refunding.
That's a savings.
That's the savings.
That's a savings. So
Okay.
it's a savings, so you don't really have the
Okay.
cash.
All right, okay, all right. I appreciate it. Thank you much.
Is there anyone else with questions?
If I'm understanding what was said, that right may be able to increase possibly your minority participation on your project. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, Mayor, we believe so. And in some of the conversations we've had with our subcontractors working through these VE items, we've picked up a few dollars that we weren't initially accounting for in areas such as the insulator for our plumbing contractor. Those are MBE funds that wasn't originally included in our bid.
Okay. Generally, when you do your projects, what's the breakdown between women-owned and minority-owned? When you have a set aside such as this, what percentage goes to women, which goes to minority? I'm just kind of curious.
It varies greatly, and it really depends on what the project delivery type is. So we wrapped up a project with Elmsel, I guess in end of August, beginning of August, and theirs was really challenging to achieve much because it was all an interior remodel. There was no site work, no concrete, very limited on the types of trades that you could choose from. And then on projects like this, where it's ground up, it can vary. Sometimes some of those subcontractors are tied up already on other projects, and sometimes they're not. So sometimes you end up with a lot of competition for the same trade, and other times it's kind of spread across the trades. So here we'll be looking at, there'll be a percentage of MEP involvement for all three of them, but then also concrete, glazing, and the breakdown actually is pretty close. It looked like it was about 10 and 10. Or a little higher than 10 and 10.
The breakdown for this specific project, Mayor, was we had roughly almost 11% minority and 18.5 women owned.
18.5.
Gives you a total of 29.4 dB total.
Councilmember Waldman?
Thank you very much. I'd like to follow up on a question from the mayor, if you don't mind. Of your DBEs, WBEs, do you require that the business has been in business for a while, or are you taking new businesses in order to meet that percentage?
It varies on what their level of involvement is. So if it's a subcontractor direct to us, there aren't any on the list that we're not already familiar with. But even when it's a subcontractor that's then subcontracting it down for something like insulation, that specific instance, I actually was contacted by the insulator, not by the plumber, and he was letting me know that he'd already spoken with the plumber to once we have the award and we award to them, then he'll get the award. But we do a very thorough job of following up with our subcontractors and their vendors to make sure that bills are being paid and familiarity of projects, similar scopes, to make sure that we have a solid team on projects. So very similar to, we interviewed with the city and Navigate. We'll do the same with our subcontractors. We bring them in, interview them, make sure they understand things, the schedule, how we will construct the project, and then ask them questions such as who their other vendors are and how they'll play a role in the project.
If I could just ask one more in clarification of the statement you just meant, we will bring them in and talk with them. You meaning Wright Construction, the city of Olivet, and Navigate, or just you as the contractor?
Just Wright Construction.
All right, thank you very much.
Are there any other questions at this time? Would anyone like to make the request for action?
Madam Mayor,
Mayor,
I will.
I
go
would-
ahead. Whoever wants to, go ahead.
Me?
Councilmember Springer, please.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution 2021-212 authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a contract with Wright Construction for construction services for the new community center and Warson Park improvements in the amount of $11,322,000.
Second,
Do I hear a second?
second,
Please call for the vote.
Councilmember Carl,
yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes.
Councilmember Springer,
Yes.
Chairman Weil,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you. We're looking forward to working with all of you on this endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
council.
you, Mayor. We're looking forward to working with you all as well.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna return you to your evening.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, approval to purchase 2 replacement vehicles for the Olivet Police Department Patrol Division.
I'm still here.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on.
I am so working on it.
Well, maybe he wants to hear the chief's presentation.
Right. Riveting.
This riveting presentation.
That's right.
Chief Wolf, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Chairman Pro Tem, members of the council, Ms. Sondag and Mr. Martin. So this agenda item has to do with the replacement of 2 vehicles for the Police Department Patrol Division. As you know, the recently adopted budget for capital expenses for the police department did include 2 vehicles to be replaced. And so, excuse me, as well as the upfitting equipment, which includes the lights, the siren, those types of things. And we did, the vehicles will be purchased off of the Missouri State contract. The upfitting, we did issue an RFP, a request for proposal. 1 vendor responded. And you see that on your documents here. And so that's the agenda item. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
We've changed from so many different, Chevy and whatever the one was before it. And we're now dealing with Dodge Chargers. Is there a reason for that shift? Size, anything, safety?
Really, the main reason was size. We decided not to do the SUVs again. We do have 2 in our fleet, which are beneficial and are working out for us. But really, the big reason was size. And so we are going to, we're looking at Dodge Chargers this year.
And this is under the budget of what was asked, so that's even better as well. So I appreciate that explanation. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Are there any other questions from council members?
Nope.
Greg? or you-
Mayor,
No, I have a question,
Okay.
but I'll make a motion if you're ready.
Council member Carl, please make a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Dodge Chargers from Lou Fuse Chrysler Dodge with uplifting from VIP distributing not to exceed $75,161.68.
second.
Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes.
Councilmember Springer,
Yes.
Chairman Weil,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you.
Item number 9.
Hearing from citizens, part 2.
Okay, we got 2 citizens still with us. Do either of you like to have any comments? Okay, item number 10.
Item number 10 is review and approval of the minutes.
I saw no changes.
Would anyone like to make a motion, or has everyone had a chance to review them?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the city council minutes from August 24th, 2021 and August 31st, 2021.
Second.
Thank you.
Not the mayor, I'm chairman pro temp, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal that thunder from Mayor Clark.
Absolutely my fault.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes.
Councilmember Springer,
yes.
Chairman Weil,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Item number 11.
Item number 11 is city attorney's report.
Madam Chair Pro Tem, I do not have a report to make publicly, but I would ask for a closed session. We have 3 or 4 items to discuss, and the good news is that I do not think any of them will take very much time, but that would be pursuant to 610-21.1 attorney-client communications and 12 regarding negotiated contracts.
So moved.
Second,
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes.
Councilmember Springer,
yes.
Chairman Weil,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
We're going to go into closed session. Those present, thank you for coming. We've returned from closed session and no actions were taken. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Oh.